Hello friends, today we're going to be servicing this Craftsman 5 horsepower single stage snowblower, 21 inch. That's a nice clean machine that a friend of mine purchased at an estate sale, and it looks like it's barely been used. It looks really nice, but it starts up and shuts off and won't stay running. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the spark plug, check the compression in the engine, and see if the carburetor needs to be cleaned, which it probably does. This also has an electric start function, which is actually really nice. Start by tipping the machine upright so that the bottom is kind of facing upward toward us. Now we're going to remove the 9 3/8 inch coarse screws that hold the lower cover plate to the frame. There's 2 on this side, 3 on top, and 4 on the right side. You see the holes here. I've got 1 left to do. And they come right out with a nut driver, ratchet handle, cordless screw gun, anything you want to use. Next, we're going to gently pry the lower cover off without bending the choke arm too much, because we don't want to take a chance on breaking that. There we go, pops right out. Set that aside. Now we're going to use a 1/2 inch socket. And we're going to remove the bowl nut right here. Fuel bowl here, you're going to want to replace that fuel line too, because sometimes they decay and you get particles inside, and I do have some particles in there right now. I used my little mini cleaning wire set to clean out the jets and holes in the bottom nut, and usually I use, well, not usually, but a lot of times I use a welder tip cleaner tool, which is very convenient too. I bought this little set of wires. I thought, well, we'll try these and see if they work out. And they seem to work out pretty well. Let's see if we can get a good view here. I took the whole thing and held it with a pair of pliers and brushed it really good to get all the corrosion and dirt and green stuff off of it. And now if you look, I don't know if we can see very well or not, but we've got the hole is clear there all the way through. See right through it there. There you go. And that's a good thing. And then down through the center, there's a little tiny hole in the center that you gotta make sure is totally clear. And up high on the top of the threads on one side, there's a tiny little, I think that's called a venturi hole. That gets clogged. That has to be totally clean too, or else it won't idle smoothly. And ideally, you'd want to go ahead and replace this jet screw if you have time, if you're not in a hurry to get back out on the road or back out in the driveway to finish up your snow plowing or shoveling, whatever. But in an emergency, you don't have to change it. You can clean it, and that's what we just did. Now we're going to run the spray cleaner up through the bottom of the carburetor, make sure the little channels that go up from the bottom of the carburetor up through the carburetor itself are clean. And we're going to clean it all out and put it all back together and see what happens. We've installed our compression tester in the spark plug hole, and we're going to give it 3 or 4 good pulls and see where we're at on the compression. This 2-cycle engine like this, usually when I worked at the shop, we wouldn't fix anything that was under 100. But I say it's a little project for a friend. We'll see if we can get it going. I just put some fresh 40-to-1 gas in it, which is about 3.6 or 3.7 ounces of 2-cycle mixing oil per gallon of fuel. I like to use direct 90 fuel because it doesn't decay over time. It stays fresher longer, and it's less wear and tear on your hoses and internal parts of your carburetor. So what we're going to do to test fire this up when it's cold, we're going to slide the choke lever all the way over to the right. Oops. Slide that choke lever all the way over to the right where it says choke full. We're going to hit the primer button 5 or 6 times until we feel like it's got back pressure. And if we had enough light, we could probably see some fuel accumulating in the carburetor bowl. We'll turn the key on and give it a couple pulls. Tilt it back, grab the starter. I have to tell you, this is one of the easiest machines to take apart and put together I've worked on in quite a while. This whole project here took me 35-40 minutes, And that was with me taking the time to film and show you guys what I was doing and how it worked. You could probably, if I was just doing it alone, just for a quick repair job, I could probably do it in 20 minutes. If you have taken this to a professional shop locally, one of the big lawn and garden centers, they would have charged you probably about between $125 and $150, probably closer to $150 to do a full tune-up. That would have included a new spark plug and those new gaskets and bowl parts I showed you inside of the carburetor, which really should have only cost like maybe $10 extra to buy if we were going to buy those. And you would have been out the door, I say $150 or so lighter in your pocket. You can do it yourself, save pretty much the whole amount, because you can do it for nothing, or you can do it for like $5 or $10, depending on what you want to replace. And you can see it's pretty easy. That being said, a lot of people don't want to do this kind of thing. Starting in a few months, when I retire, I'm going to be upping my game here, so to speak, and starting to do small engine repair again. And if I get a job like this, I would probably charge about $30 to $40 for a flush and start, which is what we did here. And for a full scale tune-up, like Weingarts would charge $150 for, $120 to $150, I'll probably charge $60 to $75. Let me know in the comments if you think that's fair.